Hello, folks. Timothy Phelps here with Phelps Can Help and Epic Coaching today for Epic Talk. All right. I actually had an email come through with a question for this week's topic. So, we're going to talk about that today. And that is they asked, do you think it's really a bad thing to worry about what others think of me? And I know a lot of people struggle with that, is worrying about what people think of them. And my answer to this question though is that it's yes, but maybe no at the same time, or no, but maybe yes at the same time. It's not a bad thing in a sense, but at the same time, it can be. It really depends on the situation and how you're worrying about that. Got a little notification here. Sorry about that. So we're going to go into a little bit more details on that. But before we do, just to let everybody know, if you have a question or a topic that you'd like to see discussed live on the air, email me at timothy@phelps or coachphelpscanhelp.com, and I'll address the questions or the topics live. And again, that is timothy@coachphelpscanhelp.com. All right, folks. So going into this a little bit further, first of all, we need to realize where that worry about what others thinks comes from. And a lot of that comes from the feeling of embarrassment or shame. So there's different situations though, in thinking about this. One situation that it's not a bad thing at all is in a situation where you've maybe done something that you shouldn't have done. And let's say you get caught. We can begin to feel embarrassed, shamed, and worry about what with the way people may look at us because they know that we did this bad thing. Now, in this situation, it's a positive thing. It's positive because it helps us to not want to do it again. And that's a good thing because, we always want to be trying to do better things and good things, not do the bad things. So if we get caught and we end up feeling embarrassed there and worrying about what people are thinking of us in that sense, that's a good thing because it helps us not to want to do it again. Now, the issue arises when we worry too much. We start overreacting, and we're worrying too much about what other people are thinking of us. So let's take, for instance, whenever someone, let's say you love doing something. So let's say singing. I'm going to use this as an example. You love to sing. Maybe someone said something to you about your singing at one point in time. So you start thinking that you shouldn't sing, even though you love to do it, because someone may think negatively about you, or they may look down upon you, or something along those lines. That becomes negative. When you start worrying about it so much and you start worrying about what people are thinking, that you stop doing the things that you love to do, that's negative. Most definitely, that's a negative. And that is an issue. If you're not doing the things that you enjoy in life, the things that bring you happiness because you're worried about what someone else thinks about you, by all means, that's a negative. We all, deep down, we have a desire. We have a desire for close relationships, at least one, whether it be a friend or whether it be a more intimate relationships. And it's a necessity in life. I know some of us act as though we don't need friends, we don't need relationships. Deep down, it's a necessity. We all need it. And we desire that. With that being said, sometimes that embarrassment, if we do something that we love to do that may not be looked at positively in the eyes of another. So like if we love to sing and we sing and someone says something negative, that one person saying that can sometimes make us stop doing the thing that we love. And that's definitely not good. It's not good for us. But we all go through it in some sense. Um, when our fear of what someone else thinks becomes so strong, it can actually cause us to have additional insecurities within ourselves. It can actually cause us to become needy, which in turn can drive people farther away. So while we have that desire for that relationship deep down, sometimes us worried about what other people thinks and that fear can actually drive people around more because it can cause us to have more insecurities and cause us to be needy. And that's not something that's going to attract people at all. So the things that attract people are that positiveness, that kindness, that compassion. Those positive actions attract people more and make people want to be closer to you. So if I was going to give three things to kind of help someone to not worry about what people think more, not worry about it so much, not to overthink things, not to dwell on that fear so much that it causes them to be unhappy because they're not doing the things that they love. First and foremost, I would say to realize that if someone does say something hurtful to you, sometimes unfortunately people say it in a joking sense and don't even realize that it affects people negatively. But if someone says something hurtful and they're really trying to hurt you, we should first realize that hurt people hurt people. And I know it sounds weird, but it's true. Hurt people hurt people. So a lot of times when people are hurting themselves, their response is to lash out and to hurt others. Not the right way to do it, but unfortunately, that's the way that most people react to being hurt themselves. Um, so once we realize that, it's easier for us to not take offense, so to speak. Pardon me. I need to get a drink here. To take offense to it as much, but to more so realize that most likely that person is hurting themselves. And we can, that kind of takes us into the second tip. We can become more kind and compassionate towards them still yet because we realize that they are probably hurting. And not only to be more kind and compassionate to others, but the tip is just to be more kind and compassionate to, in all situations, to everybody we encounter. I know you've heard me talk a lot about being showing more random acts of love and kindness. There's reasons for that. That really helps us a lot as well along the way. It's good to do it for others because you want to focus on others. And that's a huge thing in overcoming these anxieties and these fears is really becoming more focused on other people instead of yourself. And I know it sounds weird in a sense, but it's amazing what that can really do. And it goes far beyond that. Focusing on other people, being kind, being compassionate towards them, having that focus doesn't only help you in a sense of, becoming less worried about what others think of you, but it also helps you in other stages in your life as well. It helps you become more successful as well because you're focusing on other people, and that focus will ultimately allow you to be more successful because people attract to that. It's magnetism. I mean, think about it. You yourself, do you want to be around someone more that is negative and that is mean and rude to people, or would you rather be closer to someone who is kind, someone compassionate, someone positive in every aspect of your life? I mean, honestly, Think about that. You yourself, who would you want to be around more? I mean, and that's the same in every aspect for everybody. So if we're focusing our efforts on being more kind, being more compassionate, being more positive, then we're automatically going to attract people more and we're going to fulfill that need, that desire deep down to have those relationships. And the third thing I can say is to work on retraining our brains to also be more mindful of our own thoughts, to focus on the things that we want to focus on and not the things that we don't. And a lot of times that is done through meditation. And I know there's this big stigma on meditation for some reason, and some people don't want to do it. But meditation is such a strong and powerful tool that we have available to us. And learning to be able to take time each day to meditate and to be more mindful of our own thoughts, our own feelings. Oh man, it's such a powerful tool, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it. But these are just the three tips that I would recommend anybody to kind of help them to overcome that feeling of needing to be accepted, so to speak, and worrying about what other people are thinking all the time. So I'm just going to put them up here real quick here. First one, of course, again, realizing that hurt people hurt people. That in itself is huge. The second one here, being able to refocus on being kind and compassionate to other at all times, no matter what the situation, even in those times where you realize that someone tried to hurt you, realizing that hurt people hurt people, they're hurting. Be more kind, be more compassionate to them as well as to everybody else that we encounter, showing that random acts of love and kindness. And the third one here, retraining our brains to be more mindful of our thoughts. So to focus on the things that we want and away from the things that we don't want to focus on. That meditation, if we can learn and start putting that into our daily routines, that meditation, it's so strong and so powerful. It takes time, folks. It's nothing like this is going to change overnight, and that's something I need you to really realize. It's not going to change overnight, but if we're continuous and we have that continuous every day, we're working on this over time, man. That's a fear that we can't overcome. I've overcome it a lot, because I used to worry a lot about what people thought of me. But now I do what I love, and guess what? They're not worried about me as much as I used to think. As a matter of fact, the more I do what I love, the more it seems to attract people because I'm happy. I'm being kind. I'm being compassionate. I'm positive, and it seems like the more I'm that way, people do attract towards me. There's some people that still aren't, and you know what? That's fine with me. Not everybody's gonna like everybody, but I have some close relationships that I probably would never have had if I never changed the way I thought. Change your mindset, change your life. This is Timothy Phelps, Phelps Can Help, and Epic Coaching. Let's try to live our day not worrying about what other people think, but to live in a more positive, a more loving, a more kind way, ultimately living our most epic life.